Hello, wonderful attendees. I'm your host, Dalvinder Kaur from Lovely Professional University. Get ready to dive into today's topic that is exploring the intersection of history, museum, and beyond. Before we proceed further, allow me to introduce the experts of the day, Dr. Munmun Mondal, Assistant Professor, Department of History, School of Social Sciences and Languages, Lovely Professional University. Dr. Mondal has over 13 years of experience in museum curation and heritage management. She holds a PhD from the University of Calcutta and published extensively, including over 25 research papers. So now I would like to introduce Dr. Rajesh Purohit, former director, Allahabad Museum and Indian Museum. With over 3 decades of experience as a field and museum administrator, he has made significant contributions to Indian heritage and culture. So now I would like to introduce the admission nominee also in this webinar, Mr. Rishabh Sharma, Officer and Area Coordinator at the Department of TIABS, Division of Admission, Lovely Professional University. Mr. Sharma plays a pivotal role in connecting the university with various institutions and organizations. Before we proceed further in today's session, I would like to request everyone for any questions you can write in the chat box or in the Q&A box, and same will be addressed from my side in the end of this webinar. And now I hand over the thanks to Dr. Munmun and Dr. Rajesh, and it would be an absolute delight to listen from them. Over to you both. Unmute yourself, Dr. Munmun, first. Yes.
Sorry. Good morning, everyone, and thank you, ma'am. Thank you so very much for introducing us. So, good morning, sir. It is our privilege that Dr. Purohit is here. Yes, sir.
It's absolutely a pleasure to be here.
Okay, so today our webinar will be basically on discussing the possibilities, prospect of history, because we choose this subject with so much concern, so much ideas that what will be our future. So sir is here, so he will be enlightening us with different kind of questions, queries that is in our mind. So with this, I will not take much more time because sir is absolutely eminent personality in this field, and with vast experience and knowledge, he is the person who can guide us for our future generation. So now I hand over to you, sir. Please go forward with your
Thank you so much. A very warm and lovely morning to all of you. And I'm especially thankful to the department which has organized this wonderful workshop, keeping in view of the interest of the children, whether they should opt this subject, history, and if they opt this subject history, what are the avenues available for them in their life to build a career or just a freelancer. So there are huge opportunity. I must ensure you to all the students and scholars who are participating here. There is an immense possibility, and hundreds of avenues are open to you as if you are a student of history or you are pursuing history as a subject for building your career. I must ensure you that these avenues are very much there, but there must be a proper guide to take you to that path from where you, depending on your capacity and available resources, as well as various kinds of advertisement that you're going through in the newspaper. And you will have to forget the past. Why I'm telling you? The past was a different thing as far as history as an option is concerned. History as a career building option is concerned. The past was not that bright, but the present is astoundingly, it's so lucrative, so useful, and so varied in nature that you can have several choices. hardly you have any such subject where you have a huge opportunity and very few people know about it. And this is why Dr. Munmun thought that how she could be useful for the students and how this webinar will be an eye-opener for the people who are not aware of what the subject is all about. Generally speaking, history means people think that it's a dead subject, but it is not dead. It is from the dead only you discover the future. And that is why we are living in a generation which is the generation of the ultimate development of technology. We are in an age where things are different, and we see history not as a records of past merely, but how history is useful to learn from our past, how history is to learn to preserve our past, though it is dead, but the past encompasses so many things. History is memories of our past, and it is a depository of human experiences. We learn from the experiences only. We don't learn from the books. And these experiences are varied in nature. And those varied natures, which I have already jotted down in the first slide of it, the previous slide. But the future is not dark. Future is enormously rich, and it is full of vibrant opportunities. And this you will have to choose, because over a period of time, we have understood that with the knowledge of the past, we are better equipped to navigate the challenges and opportunities in life. What happened in the past is a sample. It is just an example. But depending on the time in which we live and whatever challenges we encounter, we are prepared from the experiences and knowledge that we had in the past. So the past is dead, not necessarily mean it is completely dead, but it has preserved so much for us. The memories are so vibrating that we are able to, equip ourselves to face the challenges. And this is what history is all about. And that is why when we study history in modern times, we understand that what had happened in the past and how from the past we learn and how we can preserve our cultural heritage, our economic heritage, because you will be surprised to know in India there are textual references, like you have a great text called the Statecraft of Kautilya, or the Arthasastra, what we call. It is not merely a study about economics. Here, economics is the state and state economy and how the state is to be run. Still, in the modern times, the Kautilya's principles are applied across the world. We have a text called the Mahabharata. So it is told that what is there in the Mahabharata, nowhere else in the world you have such voluminous work on the life of human being, how it is to be spent, and what are the values of life and all that. So, these are not merely myths or history meant for the dead. It is very much meant for the people who are alive like us. So We have got history as an option, since history is a multidisciplinary study where several subjects are there. If you could go to the previous slide, yes, fine. Why should we study history as a career? Because there are opportunities, like you can become a professor in history, you can become an academician or a researcher in history, you can be an archivist or a museum director or a heritage manager or a person engaged for conservation studies and repairing of the heritage buildings. And you can be a museum curator or a museum exhibition officer, a museum gallery guide. You can be a tourist guide. You can be an academician, librarian, archaeologist. Most importantly, the modern days archaeologist ought to be a student of history or anthropology. And you can be a better journalist, because now journalism is very much connected with history. Without history, you cannot without studying history, you cannot be a journalist, because you will, being a journalist, you will have to analyze the modern in the context of past and the past in the context of modern. So you can be a editor of a news magazine, you can be editor of a news editor, uh, a newspaper, or a television editor. And most importantly, I must tell you, could be a filmmaker, because the period movies, now most of the movies which you watch in the Netflix or in World Geography or National Geography or Discovery channels, these are filled with history only. History of wildlife in India, history of wildlife in Africa. You, when you are a student, you are able to do it in a better way than what a normal journalist or a writer or a script writer would have done it. So the period movies which we see, now you have a lots of movies on the Shakespeare's works, or on the all the masterpieces, classics, and you have, I mean, the Roman, the Greeks, I mean, the Ottoman Empire, you name it. Any subject of history is a powerful movie, and a movie that attracts huge audience. So it could be a movie program. Recently, you might have seen a movie called Mohenjo-daro. It is about the Indian civilization, the Indus Valley civilization, which happened very much to a place very close to you, is Ropar. I mean, it is 50 kilometers away from Patiala. You have a site called Ropar, where the Indus Valley findings are there. I think your students have visited that spot. So movies like the modern times Indian stories, Indian narratives, all these things can be, I mean, of immense use when you are a student of archaeology or anthropology, especially the ethnographical studies. Now, the ethnography is a very interesting, and ethnoarchaeology is a very interesting subject. And when you are a student of history or anthropology, you have an opportunity to do your research in these fields. So that is why I'm telling you, there is a huge opportunity open for you. You can take any of these career as a career in your life and do wonders for the country, and feel proud that you are a citizen of India and a student of your university who has excelled in the subject like history. And history is no more a dead subject. It is very much close to your heart. And that's why we should all study history next. As I told you that it's a multidisciplinary subject in 21st century, there are several subjects which are of immense interest to you. So now, if you want to see history in a library, you go through the books. But if you want to visualize history, what happened in history, practically what happened in history, how the people lived, how the people experienced, what are their products, how they produced things, how from the stone tool maker to the digital world they have reached. And the chronology and the development over a period of time, how the the earliest kind of technology, what we call the tool technology of the prehistoric man, and how he used to hunt the animal. Then he started living in a sedentary life, semi-sedentary life, then a sedentary life where he started domesticating animals and agriculture. Supposing if one is interested to know the agriculture history of India, which can give a deep insight to the study, he has to study the archaeological studies of agriculture and how monsoon is impacting our civilization, how the weather is impacting. So how environment is a very interesting subject in history. There is something called environmental history, and how environmental history and environmental archaeology can be together a huge opportunity in the 20th century for the students of history. And if you want to see what exactly happened, either you'll have to visit an archaeological site where you have a site museum as well as the site where people lived, people spent their life, people cooked, people dreamed. I mean, all their thoughts, aspirations, and everything can be seen from their artifacts. And the artifacts are there in the museum. That is why over a period of time, museum is not a repository of collection only. It is a place where you interact with the artifact. But these artifacts are mute. You will have to interact through certain mediums, and that medium is the digital medium that you have. Now the technology intervenes, and there is a intercept between the exhibit uh, and the audience to, through which, I mean, the interface able them or provide them all kinds of information on a Android phone that you have. So now the connectivity of people has become so easy that you can seeing the object, you can understand how we can interact with the world, how our objects are similar to their objects, how our feelings are similar to their feelings. So across the world, when you see that people of, I mean, the human species of this generation, 21st generation, are interacting today through the internet, through their museums, through their artifacts. And that is why the museum has to organize certain programs and events through which all these things are understandable and reachable. Now, the museum has got 4 principal objects. The objective of museums is inclusive in nature. It should not be in the past, the European Americans used to take museum as a elitist luxury. Now it is no more a elitist luxury. It is a public space where people can come, interact, and experience the life of the people of the past through their artifacts, which are displayed in the museum. And second objective is enacting dialogic engagement as the guiding methodology. So the museum cannot provide guides to everybody, but if you have an Android mobile where all things are programmed and the QR codes are there with every artifact, through which you can understand each of the artifacts just by scanning those artifacts. But the museum should be upgraded to that level. Otherwise, it will be, I mean, a mute organization. It won't help you to understand. The exhibits themselves, they do not speak anything. Next. Next slide, please. So obtain a basic understanding on major aspects of, yes.
And you were talking about this slide or next one?
The previous one.
Okay.
Obtain a basic understanding on the major aspects of archival and museum studies. Understand the structure, functioning, and the archives of museum with a view to understand what is written in the caption and all that. Understand different facets, heritage, and its significance. A sound knowledge of awareness on the legal institutional framework. For example, in recent times, we have gone through many such issues where there are legal disputes, and how the historians and archaeologists have come forward to prove the legal litigations. And that is why museum and historical studies are important. Next. Next slide, Dr. Munmoon.
Yes,
and
sir.
museum is a place, next, previous trust. I'm talking about the trust.
Okay.
And
okay.
the trust, the public trust, the people should have trust on the institution, because it is the museum which provides them authentic information. So the authentic information to the stakeholders are the visitors, and how this accountability and trustworthy makes the institution more attractive, more interesting. That is needs to be cared, because that is what ought to be a museum is all about. People trust this institution as we trust the books that we read. Next. Museum is just a book, but a physical book where you understand everything, not like a book you just read through your mind. Here you visually see them, what happened. And that is why the role of museum is multidisciplinary. Next. And the prime target of the audience is the audience. The target is always the audience. At the time of the development of evolutionary museums, how museum has transformed the world, and how the UNESCO has taken it as an integral part of human development, that we can see in the next slide. Next. And these are the three powers of museum. Discover everything. I mean, through these three lenses of powers, we can understand the life of the people, the world, the people and the world. It has the power of achieving sustainability. The museums are long-lasting institutions. For hundreds of years, the museums are existing and delivering its duties and responsibilities. However, over a period of time, because of the change of time, it has more modified and more dynamic and more accessible to the people, and it is more inclusive in nature. So this is why a museum has the power of sustainability, the power of involving digitization and accessibility, and the power of community building through education. And that I will tell you that how you can build your community, build different communities, because we in India live in a country where there are huge number of communities, a variety and cross section of people live there. And the most important thing, if you want to know about your identity, it is history, and the visual history is the museum. It gives you your identity. The community which had conceived, crafted, created, produced these artifacts under certain circumstances, circumstances, and with certain purposes, the environment in which they have lived, both the social and the physical environment. There is a symbiotic relation between these two, and how this can be transmitted to the generation, how this can be transmitted to the audience. It can be transmitted only through attractive storytelling manner. In a storytelling manner only, you will have to tell the story of human beings from the past to the modern. It is the culture and the people. The museum talks about the culture and the people and their tangible and intangible lives. And the UNESCO next, the UNESCO has prepared a vision for transforming of our world by 2030. And the agenda of sustainable development is amazing. This is what our responsibility is. The vision is to be achieved through pursuit of 17 sustainable development programs and 169 targets. And the museum has a very crucial role to play to understand, to deliver, and to execute the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And it is for the people, for the planet, for prosperity, peace, and partnership. The museum is an institution which cannot grow on its own. It needs partners. And the partners are the institutions, the colleges, the universities. I mean, how all these, the communities, how they can come and have a discourse. And it is only the museum which offers them a platform for such discourse. It protects and safeguards world's culture and natural heritage within the museum. Support providing learning opportunities in the support of sustainable development growths. Enable cultural participation for all. Support sustainable tourism. Tourism is economically so viable, so enriching, and in a place like India, where it can be a world's hub of tourism, but unfortunately we are not able to make it. And how this generation students will come forward to make India as one of the front-ranking nations or the tourist destination, how India could become a #1 tourist destination. It all depends on the students of history who are pursuing their degree, postgraduate degree, master degree, undergraduate degrees, and are very keen to understand the human and the environment. Next, because tourism offers you not only revenue, but it gives you an opportunity, huge opportunity for employment generation. Right from a tea staller to a bus runner to a guide, tourist guide, everyone is connected with this industry, and how the museums and museum-like organization and the students of history, archaeology, and all these things can contribute immensely for the sustainable growth of a nation like India. Next slide.
This is the Allahabad Museum, sir, the paper cutting.
Just go on. I'm showing you that how museum and environment program we have organized and how the renewable energy, the previous slide, how the museum is self-sustained by renewable energy without spending a pie on electricity. We produced electricity from the sun, the solar grids,
system.
and also saved our electricity and put them in the national grid. So we contributed. The museum as an institution is contributing to the economy of the nation and minimize our electricity bill and contributed to the and this is how the Ganga cleaning movement, it is an awareness program which organized in Calcutta. Next. Go on showing. And this is how the Spring
Different cultural
Festival,
program.
yes, Spring Festival, how the festival is an integral part of museum affairs.
That these also helps in community building also. This kind of festivals.
Yes, these are the community building program. Even
Yes,
in Allahabad, I celebrated the Eid with the people of Allahabad and make them aware why Eid is celebrated. I mean, just tomorrow or day after, the Eid is coming, the Bakri Eid is coming. A happy Eid to all the people. And this is how the archaeologist and historian can contribute to understand how water harvesting was done in the past. This is a medieval, and we have explored all these things in Kurukshetra region when we were there in the museum. Next. Next. Next, go on. Next slide.
Monsoon and archaeology.
Next, and then next.
Gallery talk.
Next.
Special lecture, national seminars, Ashokan Circuit.
Yes. Next, go on. Next. This is the interesting journey of Mackenzie. Mackenzie is the one who discovered Amaravati. And we organize a program with the Mackenzie's own lands people. He was an Irish, and we brought the Irish band to perform along with an exhibition of Amaravati collection in the Indian Museum. And this is a journey of physical and metaphysical, a story building exhibition, I mean storytelling exhibition, which I had organized there. Next. Next. Just go on. This is a heritage trail. Yes. So how interdisciplinary, I have told you that for people from the cross section of subjects like philosophy, history, archaeology, and museum practices, they can join in one platform to discourse, to have a discourse, how the people in a geographical location lived and how they interacted with the environment and produced these wonderful artifacts. Next. These are some of the questions which Dr. Munmoon has asked, and that how objects, themes, time, space, and history and happenings are connected with the artifacts. Each artifact tells you about the theme, the time in which you were produced, the space or area or avenue, venue where it was produced, the history of the people the people who have produced it, and whatever happened during this period. They can be recalled through these artifacts. Next. How technology, I have told you that digital technology. Next slide. The power of motivation through digital graphics, design.
Graphic design.
Yes, next. Because it is a mediator between the audience and the exhibits to experience what this exhibit is about. Then the social media, of course, I mean, whatever is happening all around, whatever is there in the museum, whatever artifacts are there, if you post them in the Instagram, how people react and how the
I mean,
people interact through
in the
this social
present day,
media.
probably social media is the most powerful thing we
Most
are having.
powerful, and
Yes.
especially the Instagram is
Also
drawing
connecting
so much
people,
attention.
connecting the world. That is also the
Yes, it
positive
is
part.
connecting the world. This is how we can connect with the world,
Mm.
and through our artifacts. Next. Of course, this was suggested by Dr. Moon that how a field trip to archaeological sites or museums, then internship program in the museum for the students, and how interaction with various organizations can be offered in a museum. Thank you so much for patience hearing, and it has been a wonderful experience for me to be there in the webinar, and I look forward to see all of you sometime in the future.
Thank you so very much, sir, for your beautiful presentation. And you have discussed so much. I mean, we have explored so much possibilities in the field of history and its interdisciplinary approach with archaeology, sociology, paleobotany, zoo archaeology, because now technology is superpower for us. So I think our students are also there. They will be probably asking some questions also. I
Pleasure,
think
it's my pleasure.
you have given a proper guidance to us. Thank you for your kind guidance and your time, valuable time, sir. Thank you so very much
God bless
from our
children.
side. Okay, now it is open for discussion.
Thank you so much, Dr. Munmun and Dr. Rajesh. And now I would request the admission nominee, Mr. Rishabh Sharma, to be on the screen. Over to you, Mr. Rishabh Sharma. Dr. Munmun, can you please stop sharing your screen that Mr. Rishabh is able to share the screen? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dalvinder ma'am. Before I start, I would like to extend my regard to Dr. Munmun and Dr. Rajesh. It was delightful actually listening to Dr. Rajesh on various important topics. So it was such an insightful presentation. And I can see students writing in comment section that whether we can get this presentation of sir through mail. So I would like to inform you that you can check the recording of this webinar later on at our website. You can note the direct link, that is www.lq.in/webinar.php. I'll show you the pathway as well. So today we will be discussing about accreditation, approvals, infrastructure part, how you can actually check about history program, eligibility, and how you can apply for admission in LPU. Without taking much of time, let's start. To, to start with, it gives me immense pleasure to share with you all that LPU is now NAC grade A++ university with the highest with 3.68 score on 4-point scale, highest score in first cycle of accreditation among all government and private universities. If we move further, if we talk about approvals, NAC is there, as we have discussed, NCTE is there. This is long. You can just have a look. Council of Architecture, Pharmacy Council of India. If we talk about memberships, we are the member of Association of Indian Universities. We are also member of International Association of Universities. So if we talk about rankings, the World University ranking 2023, we have been ranked 23rd. If we talk about the World University with the real impact, we have been ranked second under Atal ranking of institution of on innovation achievement. We have been ranked third. If we talk about extracurricular activities, LPU students create history. 12 out of 13 LPU students won Olympic medals in all three categories: gold, silver, and bronze. If we move further, LPU is champion of 37th National Inter-University Youth Festival under the aegis of Association of Indian Universities, New Delhi. Our students excelled in all the departments, whether possession, music, theatre, fine arts, dance, literary. If we move further, our LPU won first runner-up trophy for Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad Sports Trophy 2023, which was awarded annually by Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India. Our students signed at 19th Asian Games. See the level of exposure at LPU. LPU successfully hosted 106th Indian Science Congress, which was inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi. His Holiness Dalai Lama at LPU campus interacting with LPU students. Two former presidents in single frame, then President of Afghanistan, Mr. Hamid Karzai, alongside then President of India, Shri Pranab Mukherjee, alongside our worthy Chancellor, Sir Dr. Ashok Kumar Mittal, Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha, then Finance Minister of India at LPU campus, late Shri Arun Jaitley ji, Venkaiah Naidu ji, Jawahar Gopal Das ji, many Bollywood and sports personalities keep on visiting LPU campus. I think I need not to name them. We have added few of the slides. LPU also hold one Guinness Book of World Record on its name for highest number of person doing Bhangra at a single venue. State-of-art infrastructure, Shanti Devi Mittal Auditorium with sitting capacity of more than around 2,500 people. We have labs, Mac labs, libraries there, central libraries is there, Uni Mall. You can get all essential needs fulfilled here, whether it is basic needs, gymnasium, bowling area. We also have around 50 bedded hospital within university campus. Aerial view of LPU, lush green campus. We are clean, green, and safe campus. Night view of lovely professional university, ragging free campus. We also have indoor stadium facility available at LPU, whether it is badminton, shooting range, basketball, volleyball, combative sports, squash. We also have Olympic size swimming pool within indoor stadium facility, outside view of indoor stadium facility. Now let's go live and where we can check that how you can check all the information yourself. You can note our website address, that is www.lq.in. I'm repeating it for you, www.lq.in. All you have to do is when website open up, you just need to click on admissions. If you are 12th pass out student, just click here. Otherwise, if you are graduation pass out student, just click here. And after that, it will ask you for the discipline. As I have already selected history here from here, and the program is BA Honors in History. So it is a 3-year program with 6 semesters. Eligibility says you need minimum pass with 60% aggregate marks in 10+2 with English as subject, subject to qualifying LPU Nest exam or CUET exam. You must have qualified any of these two exams. So now let's move further. If we talk about the fee structure of this program, fees is very nominal. It is 50,000 per semester. Yes, scholarships are there. In LPU, fees always depend upon the caliber of the student. You can get up to 25% scholarship per semester, and it will be amounting to 12,500 per semester scholarship amount. So obviously there are three different slabs are there. So it will depend upon which category you are falling in. You can get scholarship on the basis of LPU Nest, on the basis of your 12th percentage. Otherwise, you can get scholarship on the basis of CUET exam. You can get scholarship if your parents are from defense background, and in that case also you can get scholarship. So if we talk about important dates, last date to take admission is 25th of June. Please make a note. Last date to take admission in this particular program is 25th of June. So LPU Nest is Lovely Professional University's national entrance and scholarship test. On the basis of this test, you get eligibility plus you get scholarship as well. So date of exam is 5th June to 30th of June. Daily this exam is being held. Last date for submission of application for LP Nest and book exam slot is 3 days before the conduct of exam. Let's suppose today is 16th, you want to give exam on 19th of June. So you need to book your exam by today itself, and your result will be displayed within your LP Nest portal within 48 working hours. Now, how actually you can apply for LP Nest? For that, you can simply click here on apply now option, or you can note the direct link, that is admission.lpu.in. Here you can register yourself with your basic details. Once you have registered yourself, you will get all your credentials through email and SMS. You can simply log in, click on here and log in. Once you log in, you need to click on continue to LP Nest application, where you need to pay LP Nest fees. LP Nest fees for male applicant is 1000 rupees, and for female applicant it is 500 rupees. And you get 2 attempts in this LP Nest chance, 2 chances you get. So once you have given your exam, your result will be displayed here only. And once your result is out, if you are qualified, then you can proceed with your admission. Take admission option will be available here in this portal only. So after that, you need to submit your documents in this particular portal only. So apart from this, if you want to connect with us on WhatsApp, so you can simply click here, or otherwise you can note our WhatsApp number, that is 98525 69000. 98525 69000. If you want to connect with us through live video counseling, you can simply click here. Through Zoom meeting, you can connect with our video counselor. And if you want to connect with our telecounselors, you can simply dial us at 01824 404 404. I am repeating it for you, 01824 404 404. So thank you so much, Dalvinder ma'am. I think I have covered all the important information. So over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rishabh Sharma. As I can see, there are some questions from our participants. Can we take questions, Dr. Munmun and Dr. Rajesh?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. We can
Yes,
definitely take.
Thanks for giving me chance to address your questions. And now let's start with the question number first. Someone is asking here, how do museums play a role in preserving and interpreting historical narratives? And what challenges do they face in ensuring these narratives are inclusive and accurate?
Wonderful question, quite relevant to, I mean, especially when we talk about the inclusive museum. Actually, every person who visits the museum is a very important stakeholder. So, and every museum charges a particular amount as an entry fees. So there is an accountability for every museum personnel to ensure that the audience visiting your museum are satisfied and their worth for money is valued. So that is why the exhibits, as I told you, that they are mute in nature, they cannot tell what they are. So just merely having a caption won't suffice everything. You will have to tell how this artifact is connected with a particular narrative. And this narrative should be told in an emotional manner so that the audience take time and interest to listen to that story and experience the exhibits, and also understand the aesthetic value of the art, the skill and dexterity that is involved in it, and the people who have dreamt of making that particular piece of art. So this is what the responsibility of the museum professional wherever he is, whether he's in India and abroad. But unfortunately, in most of our museum, we do not have these facilities. So it is the duty of the stakeholder to, I mean, these challenges are with the stakeholder as well, that they should have a proper discourse with the management so that these things are available to the masses. The museum is not meant for only the people who are elite or educated. It is also meant for the disabled, the people who are not economically viable, or I mean, it's so rich though they can visit museum. So you will have to have some programs for them as well to make the museum more inclusive and more acceptable, more accessible, and it should reach to the masses.
That is why nowadays, sir, we are having so much outreach programs. When you were there, you have organized so many programs to connect all the local people,
Yes,
outsiders.
yes.
So this is having a tremendous impact on the,
Because
holistically.
you will be surprised to know museums which are there in Delhi, they are not so I mean they are well maintained and well displayed, but the people are not visiting. So you'll have to ensure, as long as people are visiting, it's a wastage of money only, because it is stakeholders for
Exactly.
which these things are. It is for the people only. So if the people are not visiting, your
There is no point.
objective is
Yeah,
defeated.
absolutely, absolutely.
Next question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rajesh and Dr. Munmun. I hope, Adil, you got your answers from our experts. As we come to the end of this webinar, I want to express my deepest gratitude to our experts for sharing their valuable insights and expertise with us. Your presence, enthusiasm, and active participation have made this experience truly special. Hopefully, the attendees found this webinar to be valuable and will be able to utilize the information for better decision making regarding your admission. If anyone wants to access this webinar again, they can visit our website, that is lpu.in, or can be accessed on YouTube also. Stay connected with us for future webinars. Until we meet again, with the permission of my seniors, I would be signing off this webinar. Take care and goodbye. Have a beautiful day.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank
God
you, sir.
bless.
Thank you, sir,
Thank
for your
you.
valuable time. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.